contextualize it with what Prof brought up. Just no sample size, no experience, and no real reason to believe that they could upset versus one of the best in the world.
Well, neither did Complexity.
Okay,
and
fine.
they beat GAMBIT on Vertigo. And if they can do it, not everyone can, but some can.
You know, all of North America is hanging on to that one map win from Complexity.
That was big.
Hey, Complexity fell out of Blast in last place. Yeah, but they beat GAMBIT on Vertigo.
And GAMBIT only had like 3 losses in the whole year.
Well, look at that. 1x bet odds straight down the middle. And we are at the center point of this series. Buckle up, folks. It's Hampus towards the A ramp. It's NIP on the CT side. And it's Vertigo, y'all.
Vertigo.
Do you get vertigo from heights?
No, I
Oh.
just get scared.
Okay. In which case, hang on. Silence falls across the ramp. Still 2 smokes for the T side as well. But Rez is getting curious. And they say curiosity kills the cat.
But they also say the cat has 9 lives.
So he only needs 1 if he can stand tall here, but he's got a little bit of a fight on his hands as we do find NIP with the man advantage. There he goes. 8 left. Nafany gets the pick towards short. That opens the door for the bomb to push forward. They're trying to play while the smokes are still up. The dual Berettas from within the site in the hands of Plopsky. 2 guns, 2 headshots, and the bomb thrown down to the dirt. Now Shiro's got the attention drawn towards him. Axile's so far removed from this that with 30 seconds left, Shiro has to make sure that he doesn't get swarmed. We start to see Fuzi turn his attention back to the flank, and as the last ramp man goes down, Axile, the jig is up, my friend. Or at least it should be. Comes around the corner, Hampus high alert, and that is NIP with the CT pistol win.
15 rounds to go. You know, the talking point on the desk was that NIP only beat bad teams to get here, but what if they beat bad teams and GAMBIT?
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, what if? Yeah, does that mean that GAMBIT gets clumped into the bad teams?
No.
Or does that mean that those bad teams were better than we expected?
That means Movie Star are goated.
Ah. Okay, I like the roundabout logic there. Hampus looking down the A ramp. There's nothing worse than a timid A site setup.
Yes.
And so you've got the guns over top of the pistols. Go peeking, go prying, go pondering downwards, my friend. Yesterday we were leaving the studio at night. We were getting into the van, and you know, we've got big vans full of players, full of talent, whatever not. And all of a sudden, as I'm walking by a van, bang, 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 somebody's hitting on the window. I had no clue who it was until Hampus let me know he was trying to scare me loggers. And we can see today that now he's got nerves of steel, under pressure alongside himself and Fuzi. No big deal. I said, Hampus, you do that again, we're gonna have problems.
Yeah, you were gonna Conor McGregor him?
I may have to. And he said, sorry. As Hampus does. 2-0 start for the Ninjas in Pajamas. Here's the buyback. Let's see it. GAMBIT, I don't want to see a super, flat start. I don't want to see another fizzled out T side because I'm nervous after watching that ancient map.
Yeah, they're not playing that well right now, for sure. They were making some weird moves. Listen, they always play on the edge of the rounds, waiting, to the last possible second to do things, but they know exactly how to do that. And last round, or last game, they're showing us that they weren't able to. So that's a mark against themselves for sure. That is a hard smoke to land. I mean, I don't know what the lineup was, but that just looks like a cloud of pollution up there.
Surely Shiro saw that. Nafany, good job creeping forward here. Shiro over top of those sandbags. We'll take Rez out of the equation. So nice flick upwards from Nafany as well. Fuzi, the second casualty here versus NIP's A setup. And then Inter is catching S-a-tag elsewhere. So suddenly things starting to fall apart for the Ninjas in Pajamas, and it happens all around the map.
Yes. Options are wide open. And lots of time to go. Let's just pick a site, and they have B. It's the right one. Nip, I don't want to call it too soon, are going to save. Thoughts?
That's fair.
Okay.
We'll let him have it.
Yeah, so not flat, like you said. Very carbonated.
Very carbonated, and yeah, of course. I mean, we are in Europe. There's lots of gas water around these parts.
I gotta dodge it in so many different languages. And here, if I'm speaking to someone who speaks Polish, they say gas, no gas. And I say no gas.
Being the polite Canadian, I just say whichever.
You know,
even though I hate one.
Yeah.
But I don't. Honestly, gas water.
No, you like
Europe. Europe. It's my favorite thing about Europe.
You like the sparkling. I mean, we have it in Canada. You can drink the Perrier.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, of course.
Do you go out and purchase it?
I'm French Canadian, dude. Come on now.
Yeah.
A little Perrier.
Yeah.
San Pellegrino.
San Pellegrino goes crazy.
Yes, sir.
But that's also not just carbonated water.
Nope. It's better.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So bubbling up early. Gambit's T side. 1 round win. Let's get it. 3 weapons saved. So the Ninja's not looking to just fizzle out quick. Okay. But that was a very clean A setup, I think. And we have to remember just how much better Gambit are supposed to be on this map, right? Like, if this is a total blowout, don't be surprised, folks.
Yeah.
They really have some true tricks up their sleeves when it comes to the ramp play. And I feel like teams who try to get into the vertigo groove, you know, guys that think, yeah, we can do it. Let's put this in our repertoire. Well, A ramp is where you see the master classes happen.
Yeah.
And right out of the gate, we've got Shiro over top, Rez dead, back-to-back rounds in terms of 5v4s.
Yeah, the first and sometimes last step is winning ramp control from both perspectives. So yeah, great starts here from Gambit on 2 rounds. And this is, yeah, it's just so difficult. So Gambit always ready for any kind of reaggressions. And from there, it can just feel like such a small map if you give up ramp control and try to go elsewhere. Very low grenades here from NIP on round number 4. This could be a nice way to compensate for that, though. They've got 3 close on the ramp, ready to explode and trade. They will need some ingenuity, because if Gambit get up the ramp in this position,
cool,
they ain't gonna win a retake.
Sign me up for this angle.
That is new.
Would love to see this succeed, but tries to go 1 over. Oh, does get the headshot. Big burst. They try to push, but no. 3 kills for the way of Gambit, and that's going to put Esatag under pressure here. Rotates inwards just in the nick of time, but loses almost all his HP on that first fight via Axile. A 1v3 attempt given up as Gambit tie it 2.
That was interesting, and it was like, you know, something new, a little different. They weren't going off a flash, they were all just really close together, which is nice, but still a low odds battle, of course. There's just nothing else to watch when you're on the T side, and that's why those battles can be so T favored. You're just ready for anyone to turn the corner on the crane, buy the sandbags, off short shelf, and it's, yeah, it's hard to flank on this map as well. So Gambit press that advantage into the finish, and we'll have this bomb explode, no problem. Esatag has no HP to try to fight this.
What do you think of this position we see from Hampus playing on the other side of the railing? I almost wanted to see him sit on it and then for them to walk into it.
Yeah.
I was curious to how that would go, but the way the timing comes down, he extends into them instead.
So for a few seconds there, they had over-invested on the ramp control without seeing anything. So I think I also wanted to see if that angle was going to work out. But I think, yeah, it basically came down to if Gambit came out a few seconds earlier, we would have seen it. But
yeah.
Always like seeing players' favorite angles and stuff like that, and that was a new one for me. So
it's the cool thing about a team like NIP who don't normally play this map. Like, what do they have in store? What do they believe they've got that could make the edge and the difference versus a masterclass like Gambit?
Yeah, I mean, if you think you can play Vertigo and you haven't proved it yet, Gambit might be the best or worst way to start.
Yeah, fair. But Esatag able to get beyond the players here. That is the only A1S in play for the CT side. Excellent flashbang. Shiro's sidearm is enough to topple Plopsky, but Hampus will still get away with the kill and his life. Runs back somewhat, but just those 2 USPs here for the A site with the rest of Gambit inbound. Not the best of situations, despite a decent enough start over on Shiro. Nafany not able to punish the fallback, so it does still boil down to whether Hampus can collect a couple kills in addition to what he's already done. Should not be allowed to happen, and the homing missile from Inters finds Hampus on the back line.
Yeah,
so
that's well done. Grab
that M4 and run for the hills, brother. It is Gambit to the 3-2 lead.
At least they'll take an M4 and get out of here. It was a good attempt with the 2 frags they had. Some great tracking from Shiro on that first kill. But that's it, consolation prize. And Gambit will now take a small lead. So curious to see how NIP's CT side develops, and we're kind of learning by the round as to what they want to bring. And Gambit do have to come into this cautiously optimistic about winning Vertigo because they don't know, why it is that NIP feels so confident that they let this map through. It was an active choice by them. It also wasn't their map pick, but
yeah, Nip removing Dust 2 instead. Just for the record, opened the door to the Vertigo selection.
It's a knife.
Aforementioned Fuzi tattoos, the millipedes on the right arm.
He's got great tattoos, honestly.
He's got a jet, he's got a knife, he's got a millipede.
Yeah, that covers almost every aspect of life.
Yes, those are the 3 essential food groups. Back into the action with the CTs much better equipped. We've seen Rez kind of get bullied around on this ramp a couple of times, and there is this consistency in the bottom A ramp setups, at least for the start of the rounds. Frag grenades, chip damage, decent enough. Hampus tucked, and Rez even deeper.
Oh, the quiet mid-round. The mollies land, the approach comes out, and they're listening. So they get some footsteps on the ramp for what it's worth, but Gambit were just about to throw some nades anyways. And sometimes it's better to throw 2 HEs than it is to throw a molly because you can extinguish that molly.
Plopsky will open it, Shiro trades just through the edge there. Rez again.
What a shot.
Having a hard time of it getting countered by this sniper. Not 3 times, and Shiro, you can see him, right? So familiar with all of these little minute angles. But the smoke pops within bomb site, and we've got a heavy stack just behind that wall.
Yeah, planting will be tough unless they continue to work on the short control. So I wonder, Gambit are really low on time to actually get away with this entirely. The smoke is probably pissing them off a little bit.
For sure.
They might have to dive the plant.
Flashes come over top of the CTs, an incendiary that forces Shiro into the open, and Fuzi connects that headshot. This is perfect for Nip. They just stalled Gambit on the cusp of this A site, so a desperate push in with bomb just in the nick of time. He needs cover over top. Hampus takes to the top of the box, but there's no cover there whatsoever, and a double from Hampus instead. Hobbit a little late to the party.
Another little bit of time trouble here for Gambit. Now, it is also partly because, again, NIP smoked in front of default and had some presence towards short control. Gambit were not going to attack it. So I don't know if that was a specific call out to the way they want to approach the site, or if it's just incidentally something that made Gambit uncomfortable, but it worked. It worked well. And again, there's a huge difference between Gambit using the whole clock and getting into time trouble. And I think so far in the series, we've seen them get into time trouble too many times.
It was far too much of a consistent problem on Ancient. And, I feel like on that map, we can kind of sometimes chalk it up to the nature of the map itself. But here on Vertigo, I really, really was hoping not to see it happen again. The ball's in their court. Hobbit, I thought maybe he was flashed off of it, so maybe that's why he wasn't able to give cover, but he was just a little bit deeper down, and that opens the door just slightly enough for Hampus to kick it off its hinges. See if maybe now Nip can kick this CT side to overdrive. Guns up each end. Fuzi versus Shiro, both on ops.
So far, he's had some pretty good starts, albeit slow from Gambit with their kills, but yeah, and NIP have shown that they don't actually need to be scared of that as much anymore.
Ooh.
Oh, another opening from Plopsky over on the B side.
Axile getting caught out. He's now 1-6 at the start of this.
Yeah, Plopsky's been doing well. He hasn't had any friends to help him there either.
Ooh, Fuzi wounded. Sprints on the retreat. Plopsky's one of those players who has recently, I think, stepped back into a level of form that we know he had. Hampus caught in the open.
Oh,
It's right there for Shiro.
Jesus.
Just to the very tippity top of that smoke, he will find Hampus splattered on the back wall. But remember, Fuzi was low because of his mid play, and he still has an entire utility belt of grenades to try and drop. So sure enough, those start to be thrown forward, and Plopsy activates, falls down ladder. Now a potential flank in play versus Gambit, while they try to surmount against this man disadvantage. 20 seconds yet again. A repetitive issue for this Gambit T side. Shiro trying to focus forward. That's the bomb drop. There is literally no time for them to come back, grab that bomb, and plant. They have fumbled the ball a second time on this attempt at the A site, unless Hobbit can just get kills. But not even that will connect, because Plopsky is firing hot. His 7th and 8th kills to close out the round and give Ninjas the 4-3 lead.
And he's had a pretty decent year overall, at least start to the year with the Blast group. Plopsky was a big part of NIP's wins. And I think that's great for him. Again, you know, he's somebody who's kind of fallen into the shadows a little bit on the team. A few people were calling for his head, but now he's showing what he's worth. And again, he's been getting this kill on B site alone, no help whatsoever, picking somebody off in the early rounds. But that's not the only problem for Gambit. They're having trouble on A too. You mentioned it, that on Ancients, a few rounds where there was time trouble for Gambit, they started to speed it up, and they actually found some success that way. But you can't win an entire half when only that part of your game plan goes well. So we'll see if Gambit resort to those tactics or try to make the slow rounds work. And now Hampus is moving it. Okay, well, he moved into that angle behind the fence, and apparently it's not that great.
Yeah, and dead. Smashed back, flipping down the 50 floors. But it's not the end of the world, and Ninjas in Pajamas have to remind themselves of that. Single smoke thrown forward. This is all they'll have to use. And a second one. Oh! Enters!
What?
Double deagle on the push. Essetag, all that's left over. That was just a flurry of pistol players on an offensive push from Gambit. 3 deag kills, a Tech 9 just sprinkled on top, and Essetag never given a chance to set up shop because his teammates were dead in an instant.
Damn. Inters was the top performer for Gambit on their loss on Ancients, but played extremely well despite that. And those are some great shots. They had no utility behind those, just really, really good pistols, basically. Yeah, you know, an inexplicable loss here for NIP, but one they'll have to eat. No way.
He's gonna try.
Oh my God, he can actually get away with it. They're gonna run by him.
No.
Oh.
Holy hell.
Oh, and he'll at least take someone with him. That's a crazy attempt, but you know what? It was actually very, very compelling. I mean, he diffused it on the perfect angle, looked away, had that smoke down. It's a good shot. Nice try. I feel like you can't be frustrated after that.
No.
It's such a trolly attempt, and it almost works out.
Damn, those deagles too. Inters, he'd missed like one shot in between, you know?
Yeah.
Hit, miss, hit. And Nip sunk. Like that tiny boat in Battleship, the one that only takes 2.
That one's so hard to find.
You know, I think they call it the patrol boat.
I heard that, well, I heard someone say that Wordle is the modern day Battleship.
Oh, far more social.
Yeah.
Fortunately for the Ninjas in Pajamas, ooh, it's not the best of buys.
They keep landing the smoke. It's a tough one.
The skill ceiling on that bad boy.
I mean, it's way harder than landing it where you're supposed to. That's for sure.
Oh my God. It's psychological warfare.
Impressive,
you know?
for different reasons.
The analysts talked about it. It's like Fuzi trying to knife to end the game. Just put a cloud in the blue sky that Gambit see every time they come up this ramp. Gambit still have all of their utility, bar 1 or 2 nades.
Impending doom here for NIP as they hold back.
Right, that's how it feels. But we've got Plopsky with the close crane.
That angle
Empty-handed. Yeah, Wanders. Never happy with that one. Rez, Deagle at a distance. All the rotators already dead, so Rez, it's gonna have to be him and him alone. He gets attacked from both sides. Understandable death. Essetag once more, never given a chance. And I would bet my life that with Essetag alive and Gambit in the post plant, they're gonna stand just a little bit
keep
closer.
One guy on the site, yeah. And look who's also close. I mean, he doesn't have a kit, he doesn't have a smoke. And yeah, instead of actually going away from it, they push forward.
Yeah, make sure they really find him.
There, oh, there he could have grabbed that one.
Smoke. But a 5th for Gambit, and as we said, sort of expected that buy attempt from Ninjas doesn't give us much. But let's talk about it, dude. You've got one M4 in your setup on the A site, and you put the damn thing on the crane.
And I think that's the, yeah, okay, yeah. Everyone needs to know how much I hate the crane angle, #1. I don't think I've ever seen anyone get a kill there versus a good team. But also, that's where, you know, NIP, if they are practicing a lot of new stuff on the map, maybe they're going to run out of ideas with some of the ecos, or
sure.
It's going to be some rounds that look a little flat. That's
one of them. Stacked up on ramp. These pistol players catch Nafany off guard. A little surprise as the USP bullets shower through the tarp. Plopsky commits while his teammates don't.
Honestly, a solid disengage. We saw so much there, and now they can squeeze to get mid to catch the rotations back to A. No counterplay here for NIP. They're chasing ghosts or hobbits.
And hobbits are easy to catch because they have little legs.
Yeah, and big feet, so you always hear them.
Yeah, you can really... No, actually, they walk silently because they're so light.
Oh, true.
That's a whole thing, dude. That's a whole thing.
Right.
Because with the bigger your feet, the more surface area, so the less impact. I don't believe in numbers, but I do believe in science.
You believe in Lotar.
Those nasty little hobbits. Filthy creatures. Not this one, though.
Okay.
He is a gem in the CSGO world.
Sounded targeted.
It did, so I'm going to definitely walk it back. Buy back in for the Ninjas in Pajamas. Let's see if they can stop this ramp play. See if they've got something else. I like more so when they were playing close up and Hampus had that, you know, interesting railing position. I don't like when the M4 hides on crane. Haven't seen too many boosts used, but Nafany's still going to be aware of the possibility.
This is a round winner if he just walks through, but they're actually covering it from the side.
Wow.
Fuzli smartly checks off the side of sandbags.
Yep, and a well-placed incendiary forces Hobbit off of the trade angle, so that's a nice little showing here from the Ninjas in round 11. Now they're going to try to concentrate their efforts over towards the sandbags, which is, at this point, unoccupied. Instead, Rez and Fuzi retreating ever so slightly. Campus is going to rotate back just in the nick of time. We've got 4 attackers inbound and a very crisp headshot here from Hobbit. Campus trying to throw that flash forward, smokes up in the faces of the CT side. And another flash attempt to just try and maybe get these players outwards from elevator. Inter's very much locked in within this bomb site. Shiro just making sure flank is cool, which it is. There's nothing other than the rotate from elevator. Smoke lands for Inters. That's his evacuation route.
Oh, yeah.
And the Ninjas in Pajamas concede. They had the opening kill. They had the 5v4.
They did.
It's just Fuzi getting deleted and all the nades that Gambit throw forward that's enough to make the difference. 7 terrorist round wins to the 4 of NIP.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit uncomfortable. They maybe used too many nades, and then that one smoke that was left over was just the last sign. They couldn't scale, so it could have been Inters that stopped that entirely from stopping more blood to be spilled. What a nice guy. He said, don't bother. I want to be careful about, you know, getting excited about a lead here because it feels like Gambit are, again, a little bit rusty.
Sure.
You know, beating themselves a little bit. And even though they look good, we also don't know what NIP have to offer and have already seen a couple of good rounds from them and a totally unknown T side. And we know that Fuzi loves Vertigo.
That he does. And Nuke.
And Nuke.
Not that it's a part of this series. Overpass needed if Gambit can hang on to this lead. The smoke just fading on Nafany as Fuzi clips it. But that shot right there, dude.
Fuzi
so
actually,
clean.
he also made a mistake there. Fuzi got full blind, and he sat up there with his AUG fully scoped, staring into the white, and then tucked, and Hobbit had already seen him since he didn't duck right away, so he went for the repeat and was like, they didn't clear me, but Oh, they did. He was wearing the ring, and Hobbit could sense it.
All right, now you're getting in on them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm down. Plopsky, whose praises we have sung, is done for round 12. The first frag to the hands of Hobbit.
You know, Hobbit will be the difference maker on the T sides with his opening kills attempts, but he can also be the reason they lose if they, you know, had a game like Ancient where he was getting killed by Hampus every round.
Yeah, Hampus had his number, dude. So many rounds. The Lurk v Lurk fight. Rez flirting with the idea of pushing into this room, but you know that's dangerous territory, so utility instead inbound. And I'm talking all the nades. Nafany dropped to 59, falls back slightly. Rez will do the exact same thing. 50 seconds. You know, if Gambit want to play it down to the clock, then I think Nip just lean forward a little bit more. You still have a good chance at the fallback. If you can just clip somebody's wings on the retreat. Ooh, Shiro saw that. He dares him to re-peek, but Rez, he's the guy in the playmaking position.
Yeah, Rez is in a weird spot, actually.
Lost his teammate. Nice double. Can't quite finish with the triple nor the quad, but that's still substantial damage in Hobbit.
Oh, so well timed.
It doesn't matter how wounded he walks in because he's got the back of Esatag turned. Easy execution. That's Hampus now scrambling, and downwards he goes for the fight versus Nafany, but Inter sprints to the opposite side of the map, already occupied by Hobbit, and there's just enough time for this bomb plant, I believe.
Wow.
I believe.
Does he have time?
No.
He doesn't. Wait, but they could get the kill. Oh my God, Hampus almost lost there, and they didn't have enough time to plant. No way.
Inters walks up those staircases with like 6 seconds left. That was so close.
That one I feel strange about criticizing because I wasn't even aware of the time.
Who messed up?
Yeah, but there was just so much tension throughout. But again, I mean, it's on Gambit. They're the ones in the server to be able to need to stay on top of that. And that's just one on a list, a long list of rounds that have ended badly for Gambit because of the clock.
You know, it's one thing to kind of fizzle out on your hit into the bomb site, but to miscalculate a rotate,
yeah,
just another
the first thing you should be aware of. You know, making a big swing like that. Another opening, but a trade back right away from Plopsky with B control.
Which is where he's found impact.
Gotta love he's not scared of, you know, taking aggressive duels down towards B.
Flash bound for Fuzi. You're gonna come through that smoke grenade on his left side. He's very fully scoped in. Ooh, nice little adjustment onto Hobbit. Nafany pushes. Nafany survives the shot through the grill. And if I'm not mistaken, a second. I could be mistaken. I hope I am. Because at that point, it's just unfair. We've got Hampus on the lurk behind. Inter's attention turned. He's watching the doorway. Snaps slightly. Hampus so close to death, but Inter's also dropped to 27. There's going to be a sprint over towards the B site. Still plenty of time to make this happen, and Plopsky's also going to work his way into the bomb site. Guns out, sprays at a distance, and catches Inter's off. Shiro not gone just yet. 30 seconds. Bomb's on his back, and Nafany calls for the rotation to the A site yet again.
Yeah.
It's the right call to make.
Yeah, now Nafany does have a chance to try to stop them from getting into the site, but he doesn't know exactly which choke point they're going to approach first. Now, it looks like the CTs might allow a plant. However, late Molly is going to be so annoying.
Smokes for both directions. This is creating pockets on both sides. Rez looking to lurk through. If he can just push down the bomb planter, that's his attempt.
He can dive
and he gets
it. Oh.
Another round one by way of time.
Yeah,
Nip with a sixth, and Nafany falls after insult to injury.
That's frustrating to watch. I mean, to say the least.
What's happening, bro?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they had such low odds of going back to the site, but they did have Nafany still on A ramp. He didn't get his last kill. They could try to plant, but I mean, again, the whole deal is when the clock is red, you need to either have a player advantage, the site already, something so that the guy who's planting the bomb doesn't immediately take away your player advantage. I mean, that guy has his hands busy. The CTs can use that to their advantage, and things can get so hairy. There's all kinds of nades being missed.
A door ajar here for Nip to end the half strong. Hell, they could still do it with the lead. Shiro hunting for Fuzi. Rez, nicely done. Tucked up close, and at the start of this half, it was Rez dying out on A site almost every single round. He's definitely come in with some impact towards the close. And with a 5v4, they'll just sulk back slightly. Inter, he's going to activate towards middle, but Plopsky, beautiful off angle on construction. You know, sometimes when you're handing right behind those spindles, you can get your head taken clean right off, but
as much
plays a weird in-between one.
Yeah, and as much as Gambit have been off, I mean, Plopsky has played a huge part in making sure that Gambit don't just have both sides open all the time.
Yeah.
And regularly winning his duels.
Feels like Plopsky is, you know, the Hampus of ancient CT side right now. He's the one being the thorn in Gambit side. He's the one limiting their options and forcing their hand. Well, that's a great way for Plopsky to show his value once more, but there is an answer here with Shiro's op still firing off. Hampus has a teammate near him, but low HP for Rez means he's not destined to hold this bomb site. Hampus, big pickup, 20 seconds, and Hampus very much pinned into this corner. Esatag, as he rotates inwards, will fall to Shiro as well, so the sniper doing a great job of keeping the odds high here for the T side, but what about the flank? We've seen it before from Plopsky. Hampus found out as Shiro, impact after impact, nearly pushes this over the line for Gambit's 8th round win. Plopsky's got to be cautious because Axile's ready to jump right up, but that could give a chance for Plopsky to slap him back if Shiro didn't cut down player after player.
Yeah. Actually, another position where it's like, oh, this is pretty much free for NIP. They're in a good spot. They hold it down, and Gambit worked their way in. Time isn't an issue. They can trade. They rely on Shiro, who's supposed to be fragging in these mid to late round situations. That's all good. Not the most beautiful round from NIP, but ultimately they've already done so well in this half. I still, you know, I wouldn't feel good if I was Gambit at all, just because we grabbed that one. But that being said, chance for 9-6. Only pistols for NIP is they force up, but can't even afford a single rifle.
Ooh.
Not that it matters.
No, sir.
Because you can just get theirs.
Yeah, why buy them when you can steal them? That's not life advice.
That's what I always say.
Good push down to the B site. Axile almost caught by it, but nice little recovery there. And he has a teammate to come in from T-spawn. So Esatag's retreat denied. Plopsky comes down ladder. This is very quick from Gambit, wasting no time for once. Able to get to the B site quick. Bomb plant, theirs for the taking. No contest whatsoever.
Leave it to Gambit to play badly and get 9 rounds.
Right, exactly, you know? It's like we've seen these little moments where you're just waiting for Gambit to get punished, but at the end of the day, they are still one of the best teams in the world. And on an individual level, Shiro shows it. 15-7 towards the end of this half. Rez, Deagle, nicely done. Just reminding them before this second half begins that NIP still have something in the tank. 6 CT rounds for the Ninjas in Pajamas on a map that they don't play. But the games truly just begin, as we'll be back after the break. GAMBIT showing their value here on Vertigo, showing why it's their map pick, but also still showing us those little slivers of doubt that caused problems on Ancient. The clock is their biggest enemy, and Shiro their strongest tool. He tops the board here for GAMBIT as we begin the second half.
I think the best thing to say about NIP recently is they made some strides to try to improve their T sides, and I can only assume that with Vertigo that was a specific emphasis. So to go against GAMBIT here, they will need a strong one, and GAMBIT don't know much about what they're going to bring. So there's an opportunity, actually, for NIP to make the entire upset, especially in the quality of rounds we saw from GAMBIT, because they're not playing themselves. I can imagine that frustration will take a hold if anything gets any worse. And I'm saying all this even though they have 9 rounds, but you had to watch the first half to understand.
This is a really good split to the B site. Just Axile here, he goes down empty-handed, so all's good for the NIP squad. Rez, careful, bud. Getting nearly caught on the jump, but he's got Plopsky to deal a blow back the other way. Nafany knows he's pinned in the corner, but that's such an awkward one to do, dropping down like that. You know you're inaccurate as you throw yourself into the jaws of the enemies.
Yeah, he had a flash with it, but it didn't work on the corner.
Right. So just a crossfire instead set upon him. And with this bomb plant, it looks like NIP are going to go ahead to take second pistol. Now that's going to cut down the lead. Oh, they try to fight. Hobbit lets those Berettas loose, and it's just the one frag for him. So a 7th round win, a pistol victory, and a strong start to the T half if they can convert.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, we don't know what NIP are going to be like on this T side, but do you feel the upset, the Vertigo upset?
On an individual level, I'm not looking at GAMBIT and thinking they're the better team.
Right.
To be honest. And you know what? NIP, I think if you're going to let Vertigo slip through, you've got to have some kind of a strategy. I don't think they're coming into this just like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
They've got this plan in mind.
They had to map it out.
And I mean, we also can't understate, again, NA Copes, but bro, complexity beat GAMBIT on Vertigo.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
And you could argue they looked even better at the time. So, yeah, and again, just shout out to Plopsky for getting key kills in hard positions by himself multiple times. They've got a little utility. They're trying to make it go far. But a smart move from NIP to avoid the problem entirely.
Grenade dropping update is actually so good.
It's great.
It's so good.
It's just only made the game better.
Look at all this teamwork that you see just silently being pieced together. Like, you know every element of that has communication involved. Our game is in a better place because of it.
Yes, and if you don't know any lineups, you can just give your nades to people who do.
And that's the best part. Contact being made and numbers being shown as well, so no surprise to see CTs rotating over. They will be able to get here in time just because the fire buys time. Hobbit hits the dirt with that MP9 in position, quickly stripped away, and the other 3 CTs no longer able to stop this assault. So NIP, they convert off pistol, doing a good job of dodging the early B damage, doing a good job of slowing it down, and as I said, piecing together their moves before committing to the ramp, and once they did commit, they went all the way through.
Now, Shiro's also had a pretty solid game overall, KD-wise, and he'll be key with stopping the A ramp presence. So Fuzi versus Shiro will be an interesting duel. And again, Fuzi, he loves Vertigo because in the academy, everybody loved Vertigo. So he might be able to bring some firepower. He out-opt, for what it's worth, Shiro one time in kind of a pure op duel. So he's got the speed, but he definitely won't have the level of positioning that Shiro does. So it won't be easy.
Feels like that's how good Shiro can be at times. Like, he did it once.
He got him one time.
He did it once.
It was a nice
but it was
shot.
a sincere compliment. Like, but it's just funny that one op duel is genuinely a sincere compliment.
Shiro's the guy coming in last year and just out-opping everybody, so.
Well, feels like it's, the year of the oppers, bro. Monacy's on the come up. Searson's back in form, or was.
Yeah. No, if the major was online, Big would win, for sure.
Put my house on that. Creepy crawl through middle, maybe. Oh, we saw a little bit of skin. And the Hampus likes the skin. Player falls back here. Just these measly pistols.
Man,
so.
the early mid split. This is.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Usually it's just A ramp stuff.
He sticks around a little bit.
Yeah.
Another smoke on elevator side. A quick redirection with Rez getting a kill. But Axile beat Fuzi, I believe, down on the bottom of B. So suddenly Plopsky offers them a gun. I'd be screaming, get your ass to the A site.
Quickly.
But the bomb needs to be picked up first. Finally gets drawn away from the bottom of B.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, Hampus is here to just cut off all the rotates.
Yeah, and they can actually plant for him now, funnily enough, which makes things even more complicated. If the B rotate...
Still Shiro in sight.
It's going to lead to a big flank. Axile's going to lead that. The rest of the CTs haven't moved. Okay, yeah, there are still a couple of people here.
Yeah, it's not comfortable at all. If anything, I feel like
Hampus can get into this.
But Hampus is kind of useless until he gets here. Oh, okay, good thing he picks that kill up. But not a second.
Oh,
and Axile also attacking from the flank. This is going perfectly for Gambit. Rez, he's tasked with the clutch, 30 seconds. It's a fake once, 2 CTs stacked upon these boxes. That's going to be a difficult fight.
Wait a second.
But he nearly manages. It is the force buy win here from Gambit.
There was a way if Rez got both those kills, he could have gone B.
Bro, they had so little to work with.
That's kind of ridiculous. They created a very convoluted position by taking over mid control, peeking over into B with Plopsky. Plopsky not getting a kill. Hampus still out there by the smoke, and then 3 that had to take a site. But they still had like a 3-on-2 on the site, way better guns, and couldn't pull it off. But that is just a symptom of overcomplicating what was just basically an anti-eco.
Wow, what a turbo boost for Gambit in terms of economy. They'll be laughing all the way to round 16. Assuming they can convert that momentum.
Okay, that's just insane. Rez hits 3 bullets through the smoke on the opper. 5v4.
Is that allowed?
They can, we'll have to allow it.
Frag though.
It's
almost destined for him.
Yeah.
But he'll hang on with a little bit of HP here. Hampus headhunting.
They can get this op, no? Or was it taken already? Oh, wow.
Both.
What?
Nice. Hampus connects to the head of Nafany. Now we've got a 4 versus 2 situation here for Nip. But smoke damage looks good. Inter is able to bring one. Oh, and Plopsky.
Well done.
What a sick angle. You know, sometimes you're just sitting back on ramp. That's the fight I feel like when you jump up, you're expecting first, and then you can go peeking into the short side if there's nothing there, or just deal with the bomb planter. But it feels very rare that there's somebody standing on those fence posts looking for that pop-up. So props to the plop.
Yeah.
It is 4 players surviving. They should be able to find that op somewhere. And if Rez can save that for Fuzi, then we've got NIP right back to winning ways.
Hey, and they did that with minimal guns. I mean, it helps to kill Shiro that quickly, that's for sure.
I mean, with 3 shots through a smoke on a deagle.
Yeah.
Oh no, they can't get the op.
Oh my god.
It fell through the crack.
Can they eat it now?
Oh,
yeah, they
it.
can.
He got it. But
with
the
just
bomb?
the power of ammo.
See.
Was,
oh, the legs.
Oh, he could see him. Okay. Oh, well, I guess maybe Shiro makes a bit of a mistake there.
Well, now it's way less impressive.
Well, it's even more impressive, isn't it? Or I guess it depends how you. Yeah.
Depends on how you see it.
My glass is half full.
It's okay. Yeah. It's way less random. For better or for worse.
You're a Debbie Downer. A crying Connor. A sad scrawny.
Oh man. No such thing, dude.
What a grenade on one of 3 guns here for Gambit. So I'll try to sew back some dignity. But it just, yeah, it speaks to the strength of NIP right now.
Oh, hey there!
Wow.
Fuzi finds Nafany's head on a silver platter, but Shiro can't trade that back. That was his chance. And if he extends into the peak, you'd think he could have gotten punished, but it's Shiro. And he'll best Fuzi over towards the B site. Damage versus Hampus. He falls back somewhat. Remember, there's still 2 pistols in the mix here for Gambit, so Shiro finding his impact is pretty big.
I love the mid-squeeze idea based on what we've seen so far. CT's going to be spread thin, but Plopsky will start to make his way back, and Shiro still maintains his position here. Wow, quick shot, but doesn't hit.
If he had, I swear.
Oh!
Goes back, and Rez is going to punish.
Yeah, I mean,
Now,
I guess Shiro felt like if I don't do something right now, it's going to be too hard if I fall back.
Yeah, could still, with him dying, end up being too hard for Gambit to overcome. They've got the AK on Axile. He'll be boosted over the smoke, and that works wonderfully. Bomb plant is not denied. Holy hell, Rez gives great cover.
Get you a friend like Rez.
Plofsky takes one to the forehead, but still runs away with 42 HP. Good deagle spam for bits of damage, but Hampus locked in on this op.
The Hampus op.
Yeah, it's a rare treat.
No chance.
They walk away.
Well.
Tied game, folks.
Nip are fighting.
Oh, ninjas in pajamas on a map. May I emphasize, they don't play.
They don't play. They're trying to show everybody what their map pool is. It's going to change the conversation on the desk, you know, in the future when they go into future vetoes.
I feel like the conversation coming into this series was there's no way for Nip to get a good veto.
Yeah.
And I agreed.
Yeah, this is not a good... all three maps are totally comfortable for Gambit. They love everything about this veto. And it was only questions for NIP. But yeah, looks like there's already, from what we've seen in the second half, they could do this.
And I think this really legitimizes the Ninja's performance.
This would be one hell of an upset by NIP. And I mean, now we're talking about this team very seriously, even though they don't have device. They're just like a team right now.
Yeah.
And are putting in work together, learning how to play maps together, and looking different than they did a couple of months ago.
Still currently ranked 6th in the world, Ninjas in Pajamas, but I feel like, you know, their slower performance at the play-in is something that kind of took it away. You know, lost 2-0 to Copenhagen Flames. Only 4 rounds the difference between them and Wisla Krakow. And that's a team that got eliminated on the very first day. You know, 2-0 victory over Movistar, sure, but nothing for us to really think that, you know, they'd be challenging Gambit to this level on these maps.
This is basically a lead here, as well as Gambit only have the 1 AK.
See what that 1 AK can do. Do you like the crane position when there's 2 people?
This is a good spot.
Okay.
Because now it's before they turn the corner, plus it's a boost. Harder to clear. You can hide half your head.
Well, Hap is walking up into what could be his end.
Gambit always finding new boosts.
Perfect. Well played. Well played. We give him style points for that. Oh, Rez dunks it. Poor Nafity, dude. What a cinematic scene.
But Inters actually gets a 1 dig.
Oh.
Yeah. Now it's 3v4. And they'll go ahead and score an extra smoke off that body.
Bottom of B site. Hobbit's looking for a gun as well, perhaps.
Tough decision here for NIP. They've got so much utility, though. I mean, I feel like A is the right play.
Right. Question will just be, you know, Plopsky's already down to 38 health. You know Axile's AK is somewhere here on this bomb site. Sure enough, it's him and Shiro closer towards short, but everything's going to get lost inside these smokes. And I mean that for both of these teams, but a flash that could have changed the outcome. Instead, it's Inters with another deagle kill and Rez with another clutch attempt. 15 seconds, going to take the same route as his fallen comrades, pulled between directions, and with a single AK at the start of it.
Wow.
A boost on one side, a dig frag from Inters elsewhere. We've got Gambit with an 11th round. They hang on to that slight lead.
I actually think that NIP chose the wrong exec when they went onto the site. They tried to go with a gimmick and have that, I think it was their own front side smoke, and then they flashed through it. Versus the pistols, there was 2 there, and they have an advantage, I think, if they just use grenades to separate those two CTs from the rest of their opponents and try to rifle them down. But I think because they were at a man disadvantage, they decided not to. Uh-oh. Hey, things happen. Life comes at you fast.
Mm-hmm. And run boosts don't, apparently. Yeah. Well, awkward.
That's how you know they don't know the map.
I love how Hesitag looked back at Plopsky as he fell to his death. Like,
you did this.
Brother, no. Mufasa, how could you? Meanwhile, Plopsky's player cam, he's just laughing all the way. Fuzi with a deagle here, giving Axile a taste of his own medicine, but it's just Plopsky left over, and they know he's here, so destined for death. A 12th for Gambit.
Yeah, with that ego, they get 2 kills, or sorry, 2 rounds. Another buy-up will come in. And, you know, now it's time for the mental reset. NIP have already shown a lot of good. But yeah, Gambit still in the lead. The best part was when he tapped back.
Yeah, right?
Just gave it up.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
gave it up.
I am dead.
Why try? Didn't even get halfway, dude. Happens. Back in with the purchases. See if the ninjas can find a bit more of a groove. Shiro's got cover with this op. Flashbang reveals him. They've got an incendiary for him if they need it. He puts a smoke to his right side.
Oh.
They're pummeling some shots upon him, but oh, it's Hobbit to come help out. Hobbit then dies, so this is all to set up Shiro and S-Attack. Now he lands the jump over top of Sandbags as Fuzi combines. That's a burst of energy from Nip and a round win off the back of it. It was all about saving Shiro. And even though there was little tidbits of success, it still cost Gambit. And then when Shiro was finally set up to guarantee the play, empty-handed, thanks to S-Attack.
Yeah, that's nicely done, jumping up on the Sandbags quickly. And honestly, they got a little bit tunnel vision there, right? I mean, there was a guy at Sandbags, that's what they knew, but they had 3 players all trying to shoot at him instead of use their utility to zone him out.
Right.
Keep one guy with his gun out, which is Rez. Rez is relying on his teammates to try to put some molly pressure, throw HEs, whatever it is, and S-Attack just swoops in to save the day. So that makes a difference on this round. And they kill him fast enough that the rotations cannot come in time. So NIP taking 11th and show some variety and tempo.
Which is a nice look. A little diversity. You know, again, something that they've maybe had to go down into the deeper bits of the playbook for. Hampus. It's fine. All's good. Axile keeps a single AK-47. And the ninjas in pajamas still just nipping at the heels of Gambit. Piece by piece, we're getting closer to that finish line. Just like Ancient, man, this map's going to come down to the wire.
But it's the CT side economy that is a lot more precarious. So they also need to make sure on their gun rounds they have Shiro opping. It's their best and worst vice.
2 players close on the smoke. This to me is one of those questions where, like, an inexperienced Vertigo team be prepared for the diversity in setups. 2 players in this corner. Oh, and 1.5 to Rez, but the trade frag's there, and if they overextend, they're gonna walk right into the scope of Shiro. So a good flashbang to force him off the angle. Nafany starts dropping utility. Hampus with a little bit of aggression here, really following forward as Shiro gives him space to chase, and that's Hampus dead.
Yeah, that's a huge risk. That's a play that Hampus will take, and his team knows they have to follow closely behind the timings. But with that risk, he's left his team in a much worse position. They've still got ramp control, but Shiro's still alive.
Very difficult for this op to peek into Shiro, I feel. Shiro's going to be steadfast. Fire doesn't quite disrupt the position, so unlike last round where Shiro's kind of relegated to behind Sandbags and under pressure up close, this time he just draws them in nice and easy.
That was a situation of trying to have their cake and eat it too, Connor. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too there by mollying out Shiro, but at the same time trying to get the kill while he rotates back. They just want to make sure that they kill him there, and that's where Shiro's just too prepared. The molly landed a second earlier, he would have got out.
Right. Gambit pull ahead ever so slightly once more. We said that the CT economy was the thing that could be precarious, but it's the Ninja's economy that's busted off that one.
Always great awareness from Shiro.
Yeah. I mean, again, contrast that to the round prior where he's just stuck, stranded, under smoke, and in distress. That cruel isolation that was happening at Sandbags was not a problem for him this round, and the result, night and day.
And IP will keep fighting. Man, they're in... Wow, I honestly, should they be buying here?
Arguably not.
Going into 14, I mean... I don't even know the loss bonus is...
Well, they do. No takes backs.
Yeah. They're going to give it their best shot. It's not a really compelling buy. They're defending against 14, but next round, they have no money. I don't know. Maybe they've worked it out.
See if Hampus can make the magic happen.
Can't help but feel like a bomb plan is absolutely needed,
right?
And not something that NIP have been able to pull off regularly, even on their lost rounds.
Fuzi leading the pack.
Whoa.
Shiro. That's a bomb delivered.
That's a wicked whip right there.
To the CT side. Frag's going to land on Hampus. That's him down to 60. Oh, Naffity!
Damn.
Yeah, it's beautiful. A shutdown on the A-ramp. A nice kill here from Esatag as well. I mean, everybody's delivering, but no delivery bigger than that bomb at the feet of the CTs.
Yeah. Wicked shot from Shiro. Great round from Nafany. Around that falls flat, and NIP just, they didn't have, no one told them that they needed to invest here.
No, that was a decision they made on their own, and a decision that could very well come back to haunt them. They've got one round of loss bonus, as this one will fizzle out. And with that, we can see the bank accounts averaging about $2,000 across the team for NIP, so you'd think they just give away this next one, or it's forces all the way to a loss.
What are they doing? They got a full kit on one player.
Yeah, they just bought in.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it felt like they...
The Gambit are better at math. That's what we've established.
Yeah, it's all about the numbers.
Are they investing fully?
Yep.
What? How can that possibly be a good idea when they just had a half buy? They're going to invest to the end of the game? Yep. I can't see how that makes sense. I don't like to leave it black and white, but
right. Feels to me like NIP only sees solutions on overpass, maybe. Because this one, unless they can work a little bit of Ninja's magic, is about to come to an abrupt close. Oh, that's a big nade. And a quick headshot from Axile as well. He takes their Krieg from them and beats them over the head with it. 3 frags off of it. And Plopsky, the last man into this one. Nowhere to be found at this point. A minute to think about their mistakes, as these force buys back-to-back did nothing.
I can't see a silver lining, honestly. It's very weird decisions. You know, that'll be the reason they didn't have chances to win the game.
And it ultimately boils down to round 24. We saw those Deagles over on the A-ramp. Gambit with some strong ones.
You know, what you got to appreciate about Gambit, I'm not going to say they gave up. That sounds so weird, you know, especially 13-11. Like, it's weird to think you would ever be in that mindset. But, you know, like, look at Gambit at the end of Ancient. Even when that round was basically over at the end, like, they're trying all the way up until the very last millisecond and trying to make what they have go as far as possible. And this is the antithesis of that, in just trying to gamble on like a Krieg, basically. And we see that work against them here. Axel happy to have it.
Ooh.
On to 15. And again, I mean, they can actually get Galil's, like, I'm assuming, but
not even.
Not even.
Mac
Wow.
10, Tech 9s, Desert Eagles.
Sure.
I mean, it's been 3 rounds in a row that Ninjas haven't had the tools for the job. They show up to the work site empty-handed, and they are sent home abruptly. There will be some sort of an answer here from Fuzi, but oof, maybe it's Rez to make the difference. Deagle to the face of Hobbit to clear out that sandbags position. There's still 2 defenders within A, but there's a walkback as well from the Ninjas. You know, the one thing that they have had across these rounds, despite no rifles, has been decent utility. Nice forward position from Axile's, gonna give a Krieg back the other way. And it didn't work last round. It didn't work the round prior, but they've gotten the 2v2 out of this one, so 3rd time's the charm, perhaps. Shiro, the lucky charm of Gambit, 22-12, and in position to cut off the B-cross. Talked about the utility from the Ninjas. Well, they do have a flashbang that they could throw to disrupt his line of sight. A Molotov to make sure he doesn't peek into them. And I love the fact that they just go silent for a second, because it's the reason he falls away.
Mm-hmm. Full flank is coming out slowly, so Shiro will now know that it's certainly B, especially with this smoke.
Yeah. Back
to the God angle, watching the sight cross. Will need to be fast. There's fire in front of him as well. Bomb hasn't been planted yet, and this is just buying time for Enters. He'll miss the shot. Enters on the stairs, their best post-plant position.
Yep, he's gonna disrupt plant, and that's it right there. There's been multiple rounds that Enters has been able to find that flank, usually towards the A site, but this time he ends it at B. And a nice reposition as well for Enters to just ice this out for Gambit. We knew that Ninjas were going to have their hands full when it came to playing Vertigo, and it just looks like towards the end of things, they ran out of ideas, they ran out of gas, they sputtered, they stuttered, they stalled. But this series continues, folks. We'll see you on Overpass to separate these two teams. Ninjas in Pajamas trying the upset to start IEM Katowice.